Hey, you don't understand, but no, you probably do. Anyway, hate that. Platypus Dad here, talking to you about the Anycubic Kobra 3, and something that's been appearing lately in the community is a lot of banding. And I have one printer that had that a while, worked with support, replaced a few parts, replaced the motherboard, seemed to be okay. Well, all of a sudden it reared its ugly head again. And I'll bring it here into the light. If it can be seen, you can kind of see the bands here, how they're how bad it really is banding, and it was banding. Now, nothing to change. Belt tension was good, temps were good, head was solid. None of the usual suspects were happening, and so it's a known issue in the Anycubic Kobra 3 community. So while I was troubleshooting it, all of a sudden when I turned it on again, I noticed the power supply fan started making noise, and I was like, okay, well, I'll check out the power supply. So I flipped it over. It's actually pretty easy to get to if you flip the Kobra 3. I actually have one here. Hang on. Okay, the power supply is actually accessible from the bottom, and you actually remove two screws and you flip it up and you can see all the terminals in here. Now, what I did, only because I have the tools, I have a multimeter. If you have that availability, what I did was I turned it on and with this loose, just measured the 24 volts coming out of here over time, and I could see it was drifting. Just a constant drift. And I actually have a pocket oscilloscope I put on there, and I could just see it just constant. So that told me that one of the rectifier diodes in that power supply probably going bad, because that's what it used. It's a rectified power supply, and that's how it changes it from AC to DC. Now, did I buy the Anycubic power supply that they have on the website? No, I did not. What I did is I went to Amazon and I found a 24 volt power supply. Hold on, I'll put that back. And half the price, it's regulated, and it was fine. So if you've worked in long enough, you really just need to make sure that your wattage is the same, and that if not a little better, so it has the power to do it and it fits. And most of these are the same form factor. And this is the one that was removed. It's backwards, you probably can't read it, but the 400L-24 is really the number you need to look for when looking for a replacement power supply. Now, why do I say this? Is because these motors on these units, any printer for the most part that are consumer grade, they are pulse width modulated. Now that means it doesn't supply a constant DC volts and just run it. It actually varies the pulse of how much movement is going to happen. That's the drive. Now, if the amplitude is how fast and far it's going to move. So if that amplitude is changing and drifting at a constant basis, you're going to get a consistent ripple. It is a problem. The old Crealities even had them, and I've even seen some Bamboos, when their power supplies go bad, have the same issue. It's just how it works. Nothing we can really do to get around it, other than change out the power supply. If you do get a power supply, make sure that the power switch is switched to 110 or 115, depending on what power supply you get. Otherwise, that causes its own issues. And it's fairly easy to replace. There are 4 screws on top. It drops. You loosen up the contacts. Now make sure you unplug the machine. Unplug the machine. Otherwise, it's very, very, very enlightening. And that will help it. So if you're having Anycubic Kobra 3 and you're having banding issues, and you have the ability to get that checked out, somebody that knows how, that's what would be my advice. If you've tried everything else and tech support just isn't giving you anything, because they like to throw parts at it, they'll throw you this, they'll throw you that. And if, like for me, they threw a new board, and the new board was well regulated and it was able to handle it for a while until I got some time on it, and electronics break down. So it's just how it is. It's just what happens. So what happened was it wasn't able to, the regulators on the drivers weren't able to regulate that drift anymore. So again, very easy to change out. I think the Anycubic one on their site is around $50. On the Amazonian site, it's like 24 bucks. Other sites at various price. This one's working great, and it tested, printed, no banding. If I can get there. The verticals, because I've got thin walls on this test piece, and it's from the support interface. Yeah, this is actually how this prints normally on a good printer. So, hope that helps. If you're having issues, I would check it out. Maybe that's your issue. It's an easy swap, especially this printer just got out of warranty. Really don't care. I've got another Ace unit, going to turn it and another unit into 8 color units, and so I just really wanted this up and going. So yeah, so platypus stat out. Make somebody smile today. That's going to make you smile. Hopefully this will make you smile if you've been fighting with this and had issues. So again, it's just, yeah. The nice thing about these power supplies, unlike the Bamboos, is they have fans on them. So they don't get really hot. But like any electronics, they wear out. So have a great day. Be blessed. Bye.